Hi, I'm Kathleen Jasper, and welcome back. Today, we're talking about strategic leadership, specifically the data analysis that happens before strategic decisions are made. Strategic leadership is the very first content category on both the SLLA 6990 and the Praxis 5412, and it focuses on vision, mission, and shared goals. But here's the thing: before we can guide committees, set goals, or talk about vision, we have to start with the data. Strategic leaders always look at the data first. That's where clarity comes from, and that's what we're breaking down today. One of the most important concepts you need to understand, both for real leadership and for your exam, is disaggregated data. If you ever see the word disaggregate in an answer choice, slow down and pay attention. Strategic leaders don't just look at big picture numbers, they dig deeper. They look at subgroups, patterns, and nuances so they can identify very specific needs and then strategically allocate resources to meet those needs. That's how gaps get closed, and that's how instruction improves for students. Let's start with general school-wide data. Imagine a K-8 school with reading proficiency rates hovering around the high 60s to low 70s% range. On the surface, that looks pretty solid. About 20% of students are approaching proficiency, and a smaller percentage are below. That's useful as a snapshot, but it doesn't tell us nearly enough. Who are those approaching students? What skills are they missing? And where exactly do the biggest needs live? Big picture data alone can't drive effective building-wide decisions. So the next step is disaggregating by subgroup. And before we go any further, it's important to say this: students are more than their subgroups. These categories help us analyze patterns, but they don't define students. English learners, students with disabilities, economically disadvantaged students all bring strengths, skills, and assets that may not show up on a timed reading exam. We use subgroups to identify needs, not labels. When we break the data down, patterns start to emerge. Maybe female students are outperforming male students. Maybe English learners are significantly below the overall proficiency rate, which makes sense when you consider they're learning academic content in a second language under time conditions. Students with disabilities may show even larger gaps. Economically disadvantaged students might fall somewhere in between. These comparisons help us identify achievement gaps, another key term you want to recognize on the exam. But strong leadership doesn't stop there. Let's say we decide to focus on English learners. Now we disaggregate again, this time by skill. And this is where strategy really comes into play. We might find that students are doing well in phonological awareness and vocabulary, but they're struggling with higher level skills like inference and written responses to reading. That tells us something powerful. The issue isn't basic decoding, it's analysis and application. Those higher level skills live at the top of Bloom's taxonomy, and they require intentional instruction. So now, instead of guessing, we can plan. We bring teachers together, we use PLCs, we design common formative assessments aligned to test expectations. We loop in content area teachers, especially science and social studies, because those classrooms are full of opportunities for reading, analysis, and writing. Every decision we make is tied directly back to the data. That's what strategic leadership looks like. It's collaborative, it's intentional, and most importantly, it's grounded in disaggregated data. So shared goals actually lead to real improvement for students. If you need more help preparing for your leadership certification exam, head over to kathleenjasper.com. Under study guides, you'll find resources for both the SLLA 6990 and the Praxis 5412. Our study guide is available on the website and on Amazon, and it pairs perfectly with our audio course, which is more like a podcast than an audiobook. We also offer complete prep online courses with hours of video, the digital study guide, and the audio course all bundled together. Be sure to follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for updates, strategies, and free resources. And if you found this helpful, share it with a friend, colleague, or anyone else preparing for their leadership exam. Thanks for listening.